My name is Kathie McClanahan, and this is my resurrection story. I grew up in Covington, Tennessee, actually a small town right west of Covington called Garland, with fabulous parents. We went to church. Every time the church was open, we mowed the yard, we cleaned the church, we did everything. My daddy had us doing it all. All my life I've been in the church. It's been a perfect life. I was the middle child of three. I have an older sister and a younger brother, and it's a wonderful life. It was a wonderful life until I was age 15 and my mother suddenly got cancer and died 2 months later. My daddy stepped up. He was always a great guy, and we still had a wonderful life. And then soon after that, one of our former preachers, of course, had a sister that had never been married, and he introduced her to my daddy, and they got married a couple of years later, which was great. 5 years later, my daddy did die. He had cardiomyopathy and died. And then after that, Emma Lou, my stepmother, had always wanted to be a Methodist preacher, so she left and went to Emory to school and finished and got her theological degree and came back and was a preacher. And we still had a good life. We had a lot of interaction with her. Before my daddy married Emma Lou, he and my grandmother took me to college in Martin, which I never realized how much I would love college, and it was really fun. And that's where I met Stan McClanahan, and it was my senior year, and it seemed like, I don't know, it was a perfect person. And we did get married right after we both graduated, and we moved to Bolivar and lived there for 20 years. After Stan and I got married, we tried for a long time to have kids. I think it was like 6 years, and we finally had fertility help, and we did manage to have our first son, Will McClanahan, and he was fun. It was great. And then from there we went on, waited 3 years. It seemed like we could not get pregnant again, but we did, and prayed a lot about that too. And then we had Drew, and it was great. Stan's mother was sick, and we decided we should move to Waverly and help his dad out. And so that's when we came here, and because Will and Drew had always come here in the summers and had loved Waverly. So we moved here. I got a job teaching, and Stan for a while was working with a carpenter, and then he got his job at the co-op, and life just went on. It seemed like it was going to be great. When we got to Waverly, Will was a freshman in high school and loved high school, and Drew was in the 6th grade at the junior high, and they both had lots of friends. We all seemed to love it. We had gone to the Methodist church. We were all involved there with the youth and doing great things. And Will went on to college. He decided to go to college at Martin. We took him up there. He was a senior in college. Drew had just started in college too at Martin, so they were following in their parents' footsteps, which was really fun. It was our preacher had come. He knocked on our door. It was on a Wednesday night. I was getting ready to go to handbell practice, and I thought it was so odd. And he came in our back door and he said, "There's been a wreck in Martin." And I could tell immediately. Stan didn't realize right off. I could tell immediately, and I said, "Is he all right?" And he said, "No." And that's when, on January 15, 2003, my life did change forever. So during that time, for the next 6 months to a year, life was very challenging. You begin to question, why did this happen to me? Why, what was going on? But we continued to believe, and with friends coming over and constantly helping us. I remember a preacher even came over and brought me a chocolate pie, and we talked and ate chocolate pie, and we tried to realize that I could carry on. And then all of a sudden, I think it was about 8 months after that January 15th, one night when I wasn't sleeping, I had already gone back to work, but I wasn't sleeping, God did talk to me, and He told me that Will is okay. He said he's going to be fine. He's okay, and you will be fine. And from that point on, I think I have been fine. I have been more compassionate and tried to be more caring, and I've listened more to God talk to me. I think in my life, since I've been married to Stan and had the 2 boys and now have grandkids and a daughter-in-law, that God has always been with me. He's guided me when I've had so many questions. He's always sent the right person or the right phone call. When I have been lost, literally lost, I have got a phone call, or all of a sudden something has just shown up in my life that I had never seen before, and I know it's Him guiding me and giving me the strength. Or when my anxiety is so much at the top, that He puts His hand on me and gets me to breathe and try to get through my days. But He has always been with me, and I think even through all my life, when I look back through my mother and my daddy, that And then my son Will, that he has always been right with me, holding me strong and telling me that I can make it, that we can carry on. And now today, as things are carrying on, and I do have the grandkids, I just feel like I do want them to know God as the way I know Him. So I do bring them to church, and I try to make sure that they have the right experiences too, and that they understand that God is always with them, that there's no reason to worry, that He will get us through whatever trials we have. And I do bring them to church and try to be with them as much as I can. I think now God has really, that I have really been transformed, that God is leading me to do things. I try to help out in the community as much as I can and volunteer when I can, not only just for my own family but for the whole community, and try to be giving and fair to all. I'm Kathie, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me.